Allocation now to counties have continually decreased. In the last financial year, we had a battle between the National Assembly and the Senate. They couldn't agree who will get this amount and who will get this amount. The National Assembly had said the county governments are supposed to get 310 billion. The Senate said it's 335 according to the recommendation of the CRA. Eventually, the Senate went to 327. After 3 months of county suffering without medicine, without service delivery, without salaries, the Senate said, hey, let's agree on what the National Assembly is saying, but at least add us something from what you are proposing of 310. And then that involved a lot of lobbying from Council of Governors. We understand the economic effects and affairs of this country. How about you add something little? That became successful to some point because we were able to get 316 billion, 0.5 eventually. So the conditional grants initially, they were very high and we appreciated as county government, but eventually they have increased in the amount such that in the last financial year we have about 16% of conditional grants being a percentage of the total revenue transferred from national government to the county government. This is a good thing. It's actually a very good thing of having conditional grant. But what it's doing, it's having a ripple effect. It's reducing the equitable share. The equitable share is what the governor have the mandate of saying this will go to development, this will go to health, this will go to ECD. The conditional grants comes with its own conditions that is supposed to do this function. So what we feel that a trend of increment in equity in the conditional grant could be bringing a very ripple effect to devolution, that is undermining devolution. You give them money and you have already told them what they need to do with that money. That is not devolution. When you give them the resources, you should be allowed to say what you want to do with the resources. Public Finance Management Act gives the framework on how the division of revenue is supposed to be done. One, on the first charge of the whole coffers, we are supposed to pay off the national debt, then the national interest, and then any other national obligation. The national interest, the debt comes first, so whichever debt that is owed for that financial year have been to be catered in that budget for that financial year. Then the national interest comes. But we do not have a definition of national interest. So the administration in place could just come up and say, Big Four is the national interest of this country. Therefore, the equitable share gets reduced because you see now the national interest are the issues of the nation, and we didn't have a framework. So we went to court over it because we couldn't agree. Uhuru Kam says housing is national interest. He give an allocation to housing. Is that the interest of Mandera County? No. Is it the interest of Makueni County? No. It's the interest of Nairobi, Kiambu, Nakuru, Eldoret, and such. So we went to court, the High Court referred the issue to IBEC, told them, come and because you are established within the law, can you identify and give definition to these 5 issues of national interest? The report have been concluded by a committee of legal and grants by IBEC, and it was presented to the Deputy President on Monday, which was approved without amendments. That is such a win. Then it will be taken to the Attorney General for advisory and approval, then now referred back to High Court so that we can have a framework that defines national interest. And then another thing we are doing on equity is we get a lot of attention from development partners. So when we get them at us, they want to do a program on maternity. They want to do a program on zero death rates, on maternal death rates. They want to do a program on ECD. We say, hey, this county is already saturated with development partners doing the same thing. How about you consider Machakos? How about you consider Busia? How about you consider, so that you don't give them the freedom to decide where they want to go. Every development partner would want to go to Mandera, Garissa, those counties. They would want to go to the most poorest counties. But you see, those counties again also receiving the equalization fund. So we get into a conversation, we agree, we seek advisory from the institutions that are mandated on advising on issues of devolution, and we agree so that we enhance the agenda of equity, first on horizontal or on vertical division of revenue, that is from national government to county government, and then between counties, and then on issues that undermine the allocation of both the national government and the county government.
My question is on the same thing, they influence how the equitable share is affected by donor grants, but also by the conditional grants, but also how then we translate it in very simple terms.
First of all, we did not have a framework that was defining conditional grants. So the national government just used to go to boardrooms with their AC and everything and say, we are going to give conditional grants of this amount to the county government. They call the development partners. Do you have funds? Yes, we do. Then development partners say, I have about 80 billion which I want to be put in this program because this is my program for the next financial year in this country. So that becomes part of the conditional grant. It was not engaging at all. Up to now, the framework has just been finalized, but it was not engaging at all.
The question would be, we had a gridlock between the MPs and the senators on the resource allocation. You as the Council of Governors trying to get a framework that will avoid this happening again, because if it happens in 16, 2017, 2018, 2019, it means it will happen in 2020 again. Are you as the Council of the Secretariat trying to find a way to avoid this happening or streamlining this particular phase of the process?
There is a PFMA amendment that is in the House at the moment. They are trying to bring the administrative interim so that if the DORA is not passed, county government can be able to access 50% of the last audited accounts. But you see, the last audited accounts are about 5 years, 5 years back. So again, it's not equity.